a brand can build thought leadership using social media in sort of multiple ways, and I think the brands that have the ability to do the most change or the most good are the ones that can easily build thought leadership. So what I mean by that is educational institutions can build a lot of thought leadership. Large format corporations can build a lot of thought leadership. Um, and I think thought leadership really starts from not. I don't think social media is integral to the start of building thought leadership, because thought leadership really starts from intent. It really starts from what you want to say and how you want to say it. So uh, if it's if it's a large corporation like L'Oreal, which says that beauty does good. So I think if the mission statement at the top is very big, saying that beauty does good, then that can sort of help build thought leadership in multiple ways. So the large thought is beauty does good, and what you then get is you get social media enables you to action that. So if beauty does good can be actioned in multiple ways. So if it's about sort of stories of how beauty makes people feel good and how beauty transforms them, if it's stories about how the products that they create from a beauty perspective save so much electricity, or use so little paper, or don't lead to the cutting of so many trees. And I think each of those messages can be very interestingly put across through social media. So whether it's a video, again, just deviating a little, if it's Coke in the business of happiness, and they want to create thought leadership around the fact that the world needs to be happy, then they've got the Umeedo wali dhoop sunshine wali asha. So again, there they're creating thought leadership in a very creative way, not in a very boring way, but saying that happiness is so important to sort of the well-being of the world. So I think it's about messages. So if it's you've got to have a message that cuts through, and then social media allows you to do that in many ways. Whether it's a blog, whether it's Quora, whether it's whether it's a film, whether it's cinema. And again, in cinema also, I think there's uses of social media. So you can have people's thoughts coming back onto cinema. So I think social media is. I wouldn't say social media is the only thing that helps build thought leadership. Social media in terms of thought leadership is one of the tools, for large corporates. And I think for these large corporates, it stems from the larger thought and not so much from social media. Uh, but I think for other kind of companies, like institutions, for example. So if you look at a Harvard, or you look at a Stanford, or if you look at closer back home, if you look at what Amity University is trying to do, I think that's where they sort of because they're in a position to do that, they're using social media very effectively to build thought leadership. So Harvard, for example, has the Harvard Business Review IdeaCast on iTunes. So that's a great example of social media, where they've got, I think at last count they had about 900,000 subscribers to their iTunes IdeaCast. So that's one example of using social media to build thought leadership. Or they've got the hbr.org blog, where they've got continuously faculty updating stuff, people who are launching books updating stuff, uh, students updating stuff. So they're sort of really sort of harnessing the collective power of individuals to cement their position as a thought leader. Similarly, Stanford has the Stanford Technology Ventures. Sort of they've got this podcast again, which is huge number of subscribers. And similarly, Amity University on Facebook, they're trying to do stuff where you can do Q&As with their lecturers. You can ask them any questions. You can sometimes videos of their lectures are promoted online. I think Social Samosa is also a good example of how you can build thought leadership. So it's not just about writing a blog and sort of doing reviews. It's also about connecting with people who matter and getting their opinions, and sort of putting them out through a funnel. It's about doing video podcasts. It's about doing sort of meetups. So I think that's where that's really where, on a very operational level, you can build thought leadership. And all of these, the sum of these small parts really tends to become something really, really big. um, so for publications and institutions, I look at some of these ways to build thought leadership. And of course there's the usual, you can be on Quora and you can answer the questions. You can be on Yahoo Answers and try and answer as many relevant questions as possible. You can be running a blog and you can be sort of talking sensible stuff. You can have a podcast, you can have a video podcast, you can I mean, the possibilities are endless essentially. But those are tactical tools, and I think the core of thought leadership really stems from what you want to stand for and what thought you really want to lead. So I think social media can be a great tool, but for thought leadership you can't just bank on social media alone. You've got to bank on the thought as well.